What's up, Lucas? How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. How are you, Kevin?
Pretty good. Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Millennial Cope. And what the hell has happened this week?
Yeah, no, lots of stuff happened. I kind of wanted to start us off with um, YouTube Shorts.
Uh-huh.
I remember we briefly talked about it like before, because dude, you can go through these things so fast, and you forget the time around you, and an hour is just like pass by.
Yeah. No, dude, that's like fucking crazy with like how addictive the algorithm is. Like, I don't have TikTok, but I'm assuming the algorithm is just as good or even better. Like, you're so right. You can literally just get stuck for a couple, like at least 30 minutes, hour, even maybe a couple hours. Like, just it's basically you have so much diversity and different content that's exciting. And you're right. You get lost in time, like a good video game or like a good movie or book, right?
Yeah, no, but it's like way more pointless though. 'Cause it pisses me off. Like when I realize like what's happening, I keep telling myself every time, like, no, do not click on the shorts. Do not do it. And like I get on YouTube and it's like automatic now, and it's like it's really starting to piss me off, man. Because I know I'm wasting like so much time, and it's an awful feeling. It's an awful feeling.
Or well, it's basically like the fast food of like, I mean, YouTube itself was already that, but this is like the ultra hyper like fried version of social media. So that yeah, basically no value whatsoever. And then yeah, you feel like a complete piece of shit. Like if I'm assuming you ate 6 Big Macs in one night.
Yeah, no, interesting, right, with that, because it's kind of similar to people that have Facebook and they get depressed and shit and stuff. I can 100% feel myself like feeling worse because you see, all these popular podcasters, and then you have like these influencers about do this and that. And everyone's like living like their best life and all this money and shit, and you're just like, fuck these guys, man. And then I keep watching them, because maybe I'll learn something too, and it's just it's pissing me off.
Yeah, like that's actually why one of my favorite subreddits is Instagram versus reality, because like you're talking about like social media giving this facsimile of like an idealized life, right? Oh my God, they're doing so much better, like they're like so happy, like they're traveling all the time. And then like in this subreddit, I'll show you probably in a future podcast where we can actually video share and see like the screen, but you see examples of like someone doing a pose or like having certain makeup or having like flawless skin, and then you'll see the tagged photo and it's like them looking like some Frankenstein like monster Nosferatu. Or in like other examples, like how people like, oh, I'm about to like fly private jet. Did you know like in LA and a lot of these like kind of big social media cities, they have literally almost like Hollywood sets for like a fake private plane. So a lot of those like pictures you see, it's either that, or I've heard this crazy story where um, a person on Instagram, they'll have like all these pictures of them in different outfits with a private jet. But guess how many times they've actually been pictured around a private jet? And I've been like being on a private jet, just been taking a photo shoot essentially.
Dude, I've actually never heard of that, but that makes so much sense. Where'd you hear this from again, or see this?
Yeah, well, no, it's just like going Reddit, like how people like are in the industry or like near people who are part of that lifestyle. Basically, with any industry, there's a way that sausage is made, right? That old cliche phrase, like with reality TV, for example, a lot of people get driven into the drama, but a lot of these producers they know how to manufacture these fake dramas or basically give you a fictionalized version of reality, which you might think is real, but it's not, right? So, for example, in reality shows, you have them kind of feeding feeding these contestants alcohol and then being isolated from their family. So basically, they are essentially creating a false reality for these contestants, where it's easy to kind of poke and prod them with questions. So they basically blow up at each other. And in terms of like the Instagram stuff, like that person who like has all these pictures on a private jet, they basically only been around a private jet once. They just basically brought 25 outfits and then did a Photoshop.
Photo shoot, yeah.
Yeah, so basically maybe different times a day, but like it's essentially they only been around it once. And you actually see this with a lot of like girls and guys too, who like have a lot of those vacation shots. Basically, the whole trip is them taking photos, and they basically will get 6 months to a year content just from one vacation. So
Yeah.
it's basically like they slowly feed drip. I don't know the medical trip. The medical term for the IV stuff, but they basically like very minimally release those photos they already have in their.
Yeah, IV drip.
Yeah. Yeah. See, thank you. Yeah, the IV drip. They're basically slowly feeding like this content they already created in batches.
That's freaking wild to think about. That makes so much sense, though. Makes me think, yeah, the moon landing was fake, man. They just went to a set and just took a couple of days. No, I mean, right, it's kind of like that same premise, right? Yeah, the moon landing is fake. They just went to a set and took some pictures.
Yeah, the old Stanley Kubrick conspiracy, right? And you got to realize too, like when you have like this social media or marketing savvy, or even if you're just very wealthy, and can hire a team who has that savvy, right? Like everything is like basically manicured or taken care of, like a beautiful,
manufactured. Yeah, I like that word better.
Yeah, like a beautiful lawn on some like wealthy person's like property, right? Like it's very manicured, manufactured, whatever you want to say, to best make them like put them in the best light, essentially, right? So obviously, like rich or famous people, like the people just like anyone else, but obviously, like when you're at that level, it's just all you controlling the narrative and like front loading the PR battle, right?
No, yeah, like you said, I like that word manufactured. It's true, man. It's like kind of the whole idea of like you like to use the upfronting things.
Yeah.
All the hard work is already done, and then when you get to that status, everything is just they can just kind of like not necessarily half-ass it, right? But it just becomes so much easier for them to just, like you said, drip the content out and like they've made it, right? So you don't have to try as hard. That maybe, yeah.
And you just think about it normally too. Like let's say like you're a CEO type, or like in the social media side, like you're a CEO of your brand, right? Like you might be asking, how can this person be so productive, right? They have a whole team, right? Like they have a PR person, they have an assistant, a second assistant, they have like a chauffeur, like a private chef, most likely. So they're able to be more efficient with their time, right? Like you always hear that cliche, time is the most valuable asset. So they're basically just offshoring or whatever you want, like, but they're basically contracting out the stuff that isn't their what's the word? Their like not preference, but like what they're best at, their competent skill.
Yeah, man. Wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning and take a shit in your bed. Let the maid clean it up for you. You just save a whole lot of time by doing that.
Well, well, dude, like for whenever we're like wealthy, like I hope to do like a realistic work schedule. Like, yeah, I worked a good 5 hours, 4 hours a day, but just kind of relaxing and hang out with friends the rest of the time. Like
the Elon Musk way, yeah, and then be on Twitter the rest of the day.
Yeah, well, like, and then you hear him like his PR marketing is basically, oh yeah, I work like 16-hour days. Like I sleep on like the factory floors, right? A lot of that's PR stuff. And of course, maybe he's like doing a lot of meetings and CEO and engineering stuff. Maybe I'm not sure. I'm a little skeptical on some of that stuff, but yeah, like I think we had this conversation before, right? This more CEO types. Like everyone wants to think they built their own log cabin, but it basically takes a whole like entourage or team of like people who are good at their specific skill to make someone seem superhuman almost, right? Like Batman.
Yeah, I'm not down. I mean, listen, maybe in the very beginning, maybe he was doing some of that hard work. Yeah, like I said, the upfront and stuff. But again, you have to be smoking a special kind of, weed to sit there and think that Elon Musk is doing anything more than 3 to 4 hours a day at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like, get your head out your ass and just think for yourself, please. Guys, coasting.
Yeah. And then like just a small other example, and I guess we can move on to the next topic.
No, because the reason why I mentioned it is because YouTube Shorts, because you talk about the algorithm.
Yeah.
It's interesting because right now I'm getting fed a bunch of the Robert Kiyosaki or whatever.
Robert Kiyosaki, right? The Rich Dad Poor Dad guy.
We both read the book.
Yeah.
Here's what recommended me: Rich Dad Poor Dad. So we have both read it. I think it's an okay book. But right now, I'm getting fed all his bullshit about don't save money, right? The banks want you to save money because they can print more money. And, it's like you're not buying assets. And listen, it all makes sense. It sounds like it makes sense. But what I'm so sick of with all these, again, like I guess, air quotes, influencers or, people that want to sell you something like their advice, none of this shit is really approachable. Like the way better book that you recommended, and it was a really good book, it helped me out a lot, was the I Will Teach You How to Be Rich. That was so approachable. Rich Dad Poor Dad is not approachable in any kind of fucking fashion.
Yeah. I like if I could only recommend like 3 self-help books and that's basically all you need, this like triad, like and then you just do whatever you want to do is David Goggins Can't Hurt Me. Just because like the thing I like about that book is just that like he's talking about when you want to quit or like the human capacity or the human will or whatever. You're only at 40% capacity, right? You could do like a little bit more. And like for you, you want to like create like a big YouTube gaming channel. Like me, I think I want to start my own like software as a service company. Or, you know, we both want to build our YouTube channels. The second book is Atomic Habits, right? Just small changes consistently will completely change your life, right? Like I think we learned this like crazy stat in high school, but maybe from our biology teacher. I don't want to say his name, you know, just in case. But he was saying that if you were a type of person who drinks soda every single day and then you stopped, like you'd lose 15 pounds in a year just by stopping. And the final book, the third book, this changes from time to time, but like I really like the book, The Six Pillars of Self-Esteem, right? The basic premise of that book is, the Six Pillars of Self-Esteem by Nathaniel Braden. So he's talking about self-esteem, but basically saying that like in order to have like a healthy self-esteem, you want to be confident in something, right? Like you want to have something like that old cliche, the journey is more important than the destination. You want to have some skill or like mission you're building in life. And that competency or that confidence you feel from gaining that skill will naturally build the self-esteem. So I think that all has like simple lessons. And then from there, like, like we have conversations about this, like after you're done reading like the fundamental books, like just actually do the action, right?
No, yeah. I mean, again, I'm not even sure I've read any of those books, but I seriously would throw in somewhere. I want to teach you how to be rich. Because again, when I use the word approachable, that book is so approachable. And again, you mentioned this word action.
Yeah.
You can actually do these things real time. And I did all of them. And dude, I mean, it's paying off. It really has. Like I check my bank accounts and stuff, and I see these like little benefits, right? Maybe, you know, compared to becoming like a millionaire, it means shit. But in terms of, you know, everyday little life and the average guy, right? This whole idea that doesn't make sense for 90% of Americans. Yes, like that is the book you want to read. That's the book that's really not trying to go over your head and sell you useless ideas.
Yeah,
it's a really good book, and it's all doable for everybody.
And do you think the way Ramit Sethi, I think that's his name, the author, the way he wrote the book too, like he didn't like try to use like overcomplicated language too, like some other self-help books.
Yeah, right. I mean, again, it's not kindergarten, obviously, but yeah. I mean, it's very simple things, and you all set up, and he explains why it's all good. So yeah, what's the guy's name again? Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert who?
Robert Kiyosaki, the guy with like the brightly colored glasses now.
Yeah, hey Robert, you're not wrong, but again, the part that you forgot is, and you can kiss my ass. You seriously, fuck him. He's like, he doesn't realize again that 90% of that shit doesn't apply to people. Like, you know, I mean, the average American doesn't apply to people.
Yeah.
Same thing with like again these interviewers. It was like, yeah, man, do a carnivore diet. Just eat all this shit. You'd be super healthy. It's like, man, I see the problem with that is, let's say a study came out and we knew for a fact that 100% this is the way you had to eat if you want to feel the best and live the longest. People still couldn't follow it then.
Yeah.
People still wouldn't be able to do it even then, even if we knew for a freaking fact. Because right, with how we've addicted ourselves to sugar and what we like, and with eating out friends, so again, it's impossible. It's really impossible, and they don't understand that. They want to sit here and tell you like everything that is wrong, but the people that right, you just need to look. I guess the point that you need to be aware of is right when people want to actually help you kind of move things into place. That's the better approach rather than just this is how it has to be. You know, it's like, okay, maybe this is how it has to be, but bring this in and bring that in, and maybe you can stick to it then. That's the better approach. And no one does that. And that's why they're lying to you.
Yeah.
They're full of shit. They're probably end up going to try to sell you something.
Yeah, that's the thing for like some of these books too. Like, yeah, be careful. Cause yeah, it's just like some sales funnel lead up to the next course or like book. so you need something like actionable or like with written exercises. Again, that's why I like the David Goggins book too. Like it's like very inspiring. He is a crazy motherfucker, but he actually has written exercises on like stuff you could do or something that's actionable. So, yeah. And the biggest thing I learned from Rich Dad Poor Dad is like the only thing I remember is like when you're looking at assets and liabilities, right? just reconsider if it's actually an actual asset or liability, right? That's pretty much all I remember.
Yeah. No, again, the book is okay, all things considered. Just again, it's not approachable.
Yeah.
Right. I really love some of his controversial topics. Like a house is not an asset, right? Because it takes money from your pocket. And that makes sense. That's what I'm saying. The things that he's saying, again, don't save money and all this. It's like, yeah, it makes sense, bro, but the alternative doesn't work for 90%. Again, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Why advice is ultimately like useless. He's not telling you something wrong. It's just that you're not going to be able to make the right decision that he wants you to because it's just not applicable to people. And that's the part that he just misses. But he made it, so, you know, he's right? Because he worked for him, he's right, and you're wrong.
Yeah.
But back to the point about the assets and liability. Yeah, that was good. But also, too, it's the whole idea, right? The rich dad versus the poor dad. Again, I like to think of it in terms of there's opportunities that come up and you can take advantage of them. The poor dad would play it safe all the time. Rich dad, you do need to look for these opportunities. I think that is important.
So what you're telling me is you would go for it on 4th down?
Sometimes, yes, right. Sometimes that's a good. It's a sports analogy for it. Yes, 100%. You better go for a 4th down sometimes.
And Lucas, like you're the type of animated person. Like I would love to see your reactions, like a football coach. You know, like they like when your quarterback's like a dumbass. Like I can totally see your face. Oh man. Speaking of, man, it was great seeing you in person this weekend. I'm glad we got to do it, and it was just happenstance, right? I'm glad I texted you. I was in the area.
Yep, it worked out. It was a good time. It was pretty interesting. We got to hang out for sure.
And we went to the Mecca restaurants, right?
We're talking about the food court thing?
Oh, no, I was saying Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah. I'm glad you remember that food court too, though. That was good.
Yeah. I'm glad you had that flashback to being around the area.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I went that same building. I had a date there. Yeah, that's right.
Life's crazy like that.
Yes, I wanted to mention the YouTube shorts, and that's what I'm being fed right now. Andrew Tate, ever since he's gotten canceled, I don't see much of Andrew Tate right now. But now Robert, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he's just everywhere on my YouTube shorts, telling me that don't save money. You're an idiot.
Yeah. And it's interesting to say, like, it just gravitates to one person too, because like I feel like the times I've been stuck in the YouTube Shorts loop, it's only been 1 or 2 people. Like you just like half a second stay on one video and then they just flood it. For example, like, oh, you watch this KSI video. Okay, now I'm just gonna give you all the videos of the Sidemen and KSI for the next hour.
Yeah, man. Again, I'm really trying to train myself not to get on there. Like I'm trying to be very present and conscious. Like, don't do it. Don't get on there. And I'm still doing it. It's like really, because I'm earlier making me mad. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. The YouTube Shorts.
Are you watching on your phone or on your laptop?
Yeah, man. Absolutely, my phone. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say on your desktop they have like a Chrome extension to like just remove YouTube Shorts. I think there's probably something for the mobile too, but yeah, like probably the best thing to do is just remove it from being a choice, right?
That would make the most sense at this point.
Yeah.
Since I can't control myself. This one is not there right now.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Like they designed the algorithm or these apps to be as enticing as possible, right? To retain your attention as long as possible. So they do this with all these like dark patterns and psychological tricks to basically feed you dopamine. So it is hard. So you got to basically just try to avoid it at all.
Yeah, that's what takes me off about it too. Like I know exactly it's designed to do this and stuff, and like I keep knowing to go on. It's like you said, remember I mentioned before, it's like making me like kind of feel bad about myself and shit. Everything, something like funny and stuff. It's really, again, I go through a segment of Robert telling me I'm an idiot for saving money.
Yeah.
You know, Robert telling me I'm an idiot for saving money, and I'm seeing Logan Paul with Shaq, right? Celebrities, they're millionaires, all of them. You know, woo, we're having so much fun. Then going through some guy making food, eating something delicious, put all the ingredients together and like biting into like ASMR. And that's basically my whole feed right now on like YouTube Shorts. Just those 3 I'm seeing. Like, so it's pretty bad.
Lucas, can you give us a little sneak peek to your ASMR channel?
Yeah, just fart all the time, man. That's my ASMR channel. It's loud gas.
What were you doing again?
Yeah, there's not people do it. Yeah, I mean, man, ASMR. I know you don't like ASMR.
I don't. It's creepy.
I like it. I like it, man.
Yeah.
But that's another topic for a whole other day.
Yeah, for sure. Any other topics that you want to discuss before we hop off? I knew we wanted this to be a quick pod, but
yeah, it's gonna be. Everyone watch this. It's just a quick pod. Kevin was just traveling and stuff, so we're just making do with some quick time here.
We just want to make sure we're consistent, so we're gonna do it once a week for sure.
Yeah, right. Back to the atomic habits. Our mindset is right. Do it poorly. Yeah, that's better than not doing it.
Yeah, and we talked about this, but like one thing we want to going forward, we're still working on being better video editors and audio engineers. So the audio will improve. That's gonna be a promise. Just give us a little time to figure it out, and we're gonna deliver quality podcast episodes.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes, right? The more you do things, the more success things happen, right? Things get better. So stick around. Things will get better.
Yeah. Oh, and also, like, Lucas, one final note. So I was at a friend's wedding. Lucas, you would have loved me on the dance floor. I was going like a fucking wild man on the dance floor last night.
So what? Did you like the girls like checking you out and stuff? Like, oh yeah.
I think everybody was. Maybe that's just main character syndrome, but no, it's mainly.
You're the main character, Kevin. This is your podcast. I'm just here. I'm a guest.
No. Like the best I can describe it, like you know those used car like inflatable balloons. That's how my body was moving. I was very bendy, like Gumby.
Yeah, inflatable balloons. That's a good combination.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I can't wait for next week. Again, dude, it was wonderful to see you in person. Like I always appreciate that. So yeah, no topics from me this week, but I'll let you know if I see anything this upcoming week.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone, appreciate you tuning into the podcast. We're not going to keep you any longer.
All right. Peace out.